I know that one of the things you feel very strongly about is the money that movies cost. It has escalated.
It's gone up 4 times in 12 years. About 12 years ago, you could make the average cost of a film was 4.4 million in the United States dollars. Now it's 16.6. That's a big jump.
And is that money largely being spent on a lot of the stars' demands?
Stars' demands, not their demands. I mean, I guess if years and years ago, I think Elizabeth Taylor was the first star that was offered $1 million, and she said at the time, if anyone's silly enough to offer it to me, I'm not silly enough to refuse. And I think that's the situation, that people have been offering it. There's been a tremendous competition for services, and the thing has escalated out of all proportion, and in fact isn't substantiated by the kind of business you can do with a movie.
I understand that some 65 projects have been cut since you went to Columbia, but you've added another 15 or 20. What are those that have gone?
A lot of what I call revenge films. I mean, we had an enormous amount, the policemen revenging the death of their wives, one person revenging the death of They were a huge amount of revenge films, and I don't believe in revenge. So I guess if there was one category that went, it was that. But I think anyone walking into a studio does that. I mean, because you want the studio to reflect your own taste. I don't think it's a vicious act. It's merely trying to correct make things the way you think they should be.
You're not against big money films, are you, David?
No, I mean, The Mission was an expensive picture. We're doing Bill Cosby's film, which is an expensive film. I think the important thing's the mix, an intelligent mix of inexpensive pictures, moderate price pictures and in-between films, and certainly 1 or 2 big films every year. The cinema needs it. This cinema certainly needs it to fill it.
It's a fairly well-trodden path, isn't it? There's been the book, there's been the play, the television film, etc.
Indeed.
And here you come along with
Well, the most
new.
encouraging thing was Mel and Anne both said, I said, do you want me to film the play? And they said, what play? And they said, oh, yes, we heard there was a play. No, we want to do the letters. So it meant Hugh Whitemore and I had the freedom to go right back to the original letters and build a story from that. We read everything Helene had written and built up a lifestyle for her from that, and built up a whole list of events that she and Frank Dole might get involved in. And then we made lists separately of the 13 different ways you could film letters, and went from there and tried to counterpoint as much as possible rather than just illustrate the letters.
Because it must have been a tremendous challenge for the 2 leading actors, never meeting, it seemed, and...
Absolutely. I mean, it meant I could give them individual attention, mind you, but they've been in 3 movies now together without ever having played a line together, and they're getting really mad about it because they admire each other a great deal.
That is quite extraordinary,
Yes,
isn't
they
it?
met fleetingly on almost the last day of shooting in England.
I was very surprised to learn, talking earlier to people, that, in fact, it's actually easier almost to film this sort of stuff in New York than it is here in England.
Well, curious, I would never have been able to predict this, but we did the whole of New York on location, whereas 50% of England we had to reconstruct in the studio. 84 itself, as you know, is now a compact disc store. And the whole of Charing Cross Road has been facelifted beyond recognition.
Now, how authentic is your reconstruction of Marks and Co?
It's, I would say, largely a work of the imagination between Eileen Diss, my production designer, and myself. The curious thing was we invented the bookshop as we would like it to be. I think it's a little larger than it was and a little more Dickensian than it was. But when we did come across photographs after we'd done the designs, they were curiously like what we'd come up with.
And of course everyone uses the same word about it, nostalgia.
Yes, it is, but I hope sort of creative nostalgia, a memory of a time where things were a little more innocent and a little less competitive. And hopefully a little dose of that could be carried into the future with us.